Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guest is Rick Desrochers. He's here. Oh, he's been here before, and he'll probably be here again. But he has a new tool, or a new toy, I should say, in his arsenal to record the Northeast Kingdom landscape. He's now the proud owner of a drone. Well, welcome to the show,
Thank you,
Rick. You know, I'm kind of familiar with drones because I've been called one more than once. You know, back in the day.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of drone.
Mm-hmm.
So you're no stranger to the show. I've got to say I've seen your videos and your photos online. And you've really stepped it up because you're great at, you know, a camera you can hold. But now this drone thing, I think, yeah, you've stepped it up. You've really, and I think it's going to make it so people truly understand the beauty of this region. Because unless you fly, and if you could have lived here for generations, I don't think you understand the beauty until you get a view from the...
I've always wanted to get a little, I said, if I got a little bit more height, I can get over these power lines to take a shot. And the beauty behind, you know, whether it's a farm or Willoughby Lake or a hayfield, you know, I grew up on a dairy farm. That's where I wanted to record all the loss of all the small dairy farms throughout there and record it before they fall in. You know, as I ride around, it's just recording, you know, history. It's both history and our beauty that we have around here. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, because you're really recording the evolving landscape too. But yeah, you know, it wasn't too many years ago. If I wanted a aerial photo, I would call up Dan Govin over at the airport, and it required me almost losing my lunch more than once because you go up in these little airplanes, and you're kind of like bouncing along, and you're hoping he gassed up and everything, and you're trying to shoot photos. But now I have, there's people like you who all you need to do is you can sit right there. You can sit there and have your drone go up and take the photos minus the barf bag.
Well, the thing is, you know, Dan does an amazing job of what he does. He's able to fly higher up so he can get a wider expanse of views. Yeah. I wanted to concentrate it on, you know, whether it was a farm or a river going down, you know. These are very expensive. It's just another part of my camera and my eyes of what I see in the Northeast Kingdom.
So let's here show the viewers one of your shots, and to the people listening on my radio show. It's too bad, but video doesn't show up very well over the radio waves. So
you wish it did.
So what's this photo of?
So the first one that I took was of sunset at St. Mary's, overlooking the church. That was my first one. I have used them before. These require FAA Part 107 license, which I'm getting soon. And what that does is it allows me to sell my photos and do videos. Right now it's just practicing to see what I see. But the first one was of St. Mary's Church and showing the beauty of that Catholic church that has been there for since 1907. So it was just a beautiful night, and I was able to get a really, really cool shot.
Right. Did you do any? Fireworks photos?
I did not. I did it through my cameras. I had 2 cameras set up last night at the marina last night. So if you go to Newport Rocks, I have them on there. But I had 2 cameras running last night shooting the fireworks. So then the next picture that I took was Willoughby Lake. I love the rockiness of that area. So the first one was the view, and it was funny because I shut it down, and I heard thunder and lightning, and I'm like, I got to put that back up. I said, this could be a really cool shot.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you wanted to take it down because you thought it was going to get blasted out of the air.
No, so I took it back up, and ended up getting a really, really cool kind of a sunset with the black clouds coming through. And then before that, I had taken another shot. I had taken it and gone up on the mountain and shot it from the side just to show the rocky formations of Willoughby Lake. So,
we've talked before when you came on the show just about what it's like. We all know you love photography, but I understand your partner Trish has had to really strap herself in and be holding on to her coffee or whatever she should have, because you have been known to slam on your brakes when you see the perfect shot.
Absolutely. I've done that. She's learned her lesson. I had the other night, I ended up, it was sunset, and we were coming back from Brownington, just gone for a little ride, or I call it adventure. Everything is an adventure with me. And all of a sudden, we were passing by the donkey. They have a rescue donkey farm up there, and saw a awesome shot. And I ended up taking it, and it's the sunset with the donkey in the foreground. So it was a really, really cool shot. But yeah, she like I say, life's an adventure. You never know what's around that corner. Yeah. So yeah.
Is she into it like you are?
No. She
tolerates you.
No, she loves going. She loves going and seeing what I see through my eyes, whether it's going down to Holland Pond and shooting, pictures of the Milky Way. I do a lot of night photography. So I care about this region, the Northeast Kingdom, and want to share the beauty around the whole area of the Northeast Kingdom.
I like one thing that you and I have been kind of doing too. We've done it before too. Is I have the old photos, you have the new photos, and it's great to see the
changes,
the evolution. And I've had, then there's NEK drone. They've had some on my site too, and but it's great to see how much things have changed, and in some cases how little things have changed. Like, the one thing I laugh when I hear people, particularly people who aren't from here, who don't understand the history, when they see a logging operation, they think, my God, they're cutting all the trees down, and it's like, really? Let's look at these photos from the early part of the 20th century if you want to see decimation. You look at some of my old photos, like I have some of Coventry, and it was like it was like rolling prairies, more like, with large hills. They were there. The mountains were all denuded. They were just.
Well, they clear cut everything, and what it did is it brought some of those French farm families down from Canada. because
People like
during
you.
that time, yeah, people like my family. You know, you had the Patnos, the Nettos. You know, there were so many farm, French farm families that moved down here to start a new life. So,
well, yeah, it's like Agnes Limoges, who's been gone for many years now. He had a farm on the. He grew up on a farm on the River Road, and he listed off all the farmers that were there the early part of the 20th century. And I don't know if it was 99% or 100% were families that came here from Quebec.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
what are your? So you're really into farms, and I also saw you photoed Coventry Falls alpacas. That came out.
Well, I went over there. I was helping out my uncle with shooting his garage, just to show from above, just to show the dynamics of the new building that he's building. And I was like, well, I'll just take it over to Jim and Mary Cobb's with Coventry Falls alpacas, because they have a great thing going on over there, and it was a cool shot. So,
what do the animals think? Like, what did the alpacas and the camels think over there?
I try not to get too close because I understand farm animals and getting spooked, and you never want to do that. It sounds like a buzzing of bees, so I try to stay up and then zoom in on wherever I have to go, unless something gets comfortable. Like I took it down to my dad's just to play around with the horses, and they just looked at this like it was nothing.
I wonder if animals ever say, "Our humans, stupid little human tricks," and they're at it again. So that is at a good point. You talked about the buzzing and that. So why don't you start your?
Okay, if you give me 1 second, and I'll get this set up, because it just takes like a minute.
So you actually?
I have to literally set this up. So, but it's easy to set up.
Now, how high up can that go, or how high up can you legally go too?
Legally, no more than 400 feet above the tree line or whatever it is. So, like, if you're shooting at Willoughby Lake, you can go 400 feet above the tree line of the mountain area of Willoughby Lake.
So you can go above
400 feet.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Now these are the coolest things. Now I know they come in a wide variety of prices. I think you said yours cost how much?
$1,900.
So what's the difference? I see some selling for $99.
More control. This will hover till I tell it to do.
Right.
You've got to respect it. I spend a lot of times just getting comfortable with it in my backyard. I will do figure eights for hours. So it's...
There she goes. Now that's cool. Now how fast? Any idea how fast those blades are spinning?
I do not know. I know that I have it.
Now you can take our picture right now, right?
Yep.
You know, come to think about it, a drone might. We might be able to retire Todd, the producer of the show.
Right.
You know, we don't. We're not going to need him for cameras anymore.
Yep. No, but it takes a. This is not something that you fool around with. First, they're very, very expensive, and it takes a lot of practice to do. It takes a lot of practice. let me go. Whoops. Let
You
me
were
go back.
you were telling me before the show started. You said you have an acquaintance who didn't take the wind in consideration, and he smashed his.
Yep. Yep. What is funny is I brought this over to my dad's, and I brought it over to my mom's, and was showing them how this drone, works and everything, and they just, both of them burst out laughing because the first time that I ever got a really cool thing was my parents bought me an airplane to fly, and my dad, I was probably 10 years old, 8 to 10 years old, and my dad wanted to show me how to fly it, and literally flew it up in the air and nosedived it right in the Grand Union parking lot. And that was the last toy that he ever, we still joke about it to this day, but, like any piece of equipment, whether it's a camera, vehicle, or whatever, you've got to respect what you have there. And I've spent hours and hours and hours just going in circles, just getting used to the controls. When I go to take photos or video, I already know what I want for the shot, so I've already planned it ahead in my head. So it's kind of the sky's the limit. But, I don't take anything away, Dan Gobbin and what he does with expanse of areas. I mean, it shoots it differently than what I'm going to shoot. I care about the beauty of whether it's a farm or animal, or wedding, that I possibly will do down the road. But it's all of those little things.
I've spoken to the old stone house, and they have quite a repository of old photos, but I've suggested that they might want to create a, I don't know the lingo for it, but where people or they can upload photos for future generations, or for people who want to share these type of photos, because with the old stone house, I think that preserving new photos for future generations should be part of their mission, and they actually agree with me.
I love the old stone house. The new executive director over there is taking it into a place that it should have been a while ago. I'm excited to see the possibilities of what she can do over there. I always say this: the old Stoughton house hasn't looked as good in many, many years, and what she's bringing is whether it's a lot of education and preserving the history and the future.
Right. Okay, let's look at some more of your photos. What's next?
So the next one was taking. I was actually over at Willoughby at the beach, and I literally took the camera, shined it down, and got a cool shot of the beach. And what was really cool was there was a little bit of fog that was coming down, so it looked like a waterfall of fog coming down into the lake. So, and then after that, the next one I took over to the top of the hill, or the top of the world, in the Northeast Kingdom, Hillary and Todd Wright. I asked Todd for permission to go up there and shoot. This is a place, this is private property, so I wanted to make sure it was all right, and sent some shots to them, and just captured the beauty of that area right there. That's a whole different world.
Right. In one shot that you shared with me, because you saw I posted a photo photos of Prouty's Beach area. during the years leading up to World War II, when the Norwich cadets would have encampments there. And so you got to draw, like, for example, where the actual beach is today was because of the stagnant water in that bend, that's where my father used to duck hunt, because it was a swamp. And for the life, he's to the day he dies, he's going to wonder what they were thinking about putting the beach there, because it was originally a makeshift beach on the other side, facing because he said the water conditions was far better there. There's no mud, no
absolutely.
weeds.
It's all sand.
Yeah, and so he doesn't know whose brainstorm it was to put the but back to but it shows the comparison. It showed because I have photos of the Norwich cadets gathered there in their cars and tents, and they also brought their horses, and they're down drinking out of the lake. But that's one thing I really like, is being able to see some of these, the transition. And you ever thought maybe those things that they call UFOs, you actually have some kid who's on another planet, and he has his own drone, and he says, let's do a cruise by, and so they have a Martian version of Rick Desrochers.
Yeah. No, the thing is they have rules and regulations for these drones. So you've got to, like, you can't go over by the NE airports and, bring one of these up. It's just like, but it takes a different approach. It's just like when you asked me the first time to take it up to get a picture of the hole in the ground for the city of Newport, and we went over there. When I took it from above, I had so many of my friends go, "What a cool!" that aren't from here. Yeah. And couldn't believe what a beautiful forest we have down in downtown area. Yeah. And so it was a different feel from above.
It's amazing how much nature has taken it back. But on the flip side, I also had you take a photo of what we've done to nature, and I mean that good and bad. Is I also had you take a photo of Gardner Park.
Yeah.
Because I have a couple photos, actually a few photos of Gardner Park before the park was there, and it was a large swamp with a bend and Clyde River going through it. But then part of it ended up being a dump where everything was dumped. And I actually have a newspaper article. They also used it, a portion of the dump and park, for firefighting practice from firefighters from all over. They dug a deep trench or trenches, filled it full 100 gallons of fuel, and lit them on fire, and that's how they practice fighting fuel fires. But but you captured I have photos of basically what I call the Newport Swamp, and then I have a photo that shows the probably 1940s, 50s of the park, well, probably 40s, of it evolving slowly from a swamp into a park. But then you captured it now, and it doesn't look anything like the
no.
In the river now, because of when they put the interstate in, they created what looks like a canal.
Yeah.
I don't think you could do that today.
Well, you couldn't do that today. And the other thing it captured, when you look at the old picture, it was before the church was there.
Yeah.
And they had you could see all the clear cutting that they had done before. Yeah. This area back in the 1800s was clear cut, like it was barren grounds for a lot of this area. Right. About 80% of the trees were decimated during that time. Nature has taken back about the same amount that was once taken up by lumber companies.
Well, you're a farm boy, but you grew up in a day and age where, it was work, but it wasn't like Egnell's Limoges, who I was telling you about, back in his day, okay, he was about 100, close to 100 when I brought him for a ride, and he showed me forests which were once fields that he'd cleared, and he was almost in tears, like, where are my fields? And it was like, because he was talking about the labor-intensive nature of just getting one tree, cutting the tree down, and then the roots, I think he said you even use like fertilizer to blow the roots out, and he says now all of a sudden, it was like he mourned the fact that there's
you look at a lot of the farms, they took the rocks from the fields after that and made fences along there, and then Mother Nature has come in and the trees have grown up around them.
Right.
When I take what's really cool with, and I donated one to North Country to Chris over there, a picture that I shot of North Country, but when I'm above and taking a look from above of just the tree lines and how it's changed, it's really cool, and it's documenting history. We talk about it all the time, is the history and the future of this area.
I bet you'd get some publicity, probably not too good, is my neighbors down over back. If you kind of like buzz them, I bet you, Northern State Correctional Center, I have a feeling if you buzz them, that probably wouldn't be a good situation.
You cannot go in that area. It is marked off. So on this, you've got to follow, again, the rules and regulations, and that is one of them that is marked off, because they probably had drones that dropped stuff off in these. So that area is marked off. The airport area is marked off. So I try to take it far away from from the areas that you cannot get around.
Well, we're almost ready to wrap out. What else do you have for photos?
Another one that I took that was, like, I was in awe of it, was a farmer. I was going above, taking it down to Willoughby, and I zoomed my camera down, and it was a really cool design and a feel, and I'm like, what is going on? As I zoomed down into it, it was a farmer that had raked the fields up, and they were all windrows, and then he was baling the hay. I've got a picture of him baling the round bales, so it was kind of cool. And it's a very, very cool experience. Again, being careful of your machine. This has a lot of sensors on it, but you still gotta, I'm always looking 360 degrees around me to see if I'm by the tree line or what, because you want it to last forever.
Right. Anything else?
No. Other than, thank you very much for having me on. I'm going to be taking my test here shortly, and then we'll go from there.
I think I just love what you're doing. I think there's so many people doing cool things around here, and but unfortunately, sometimes the whining kind of blurs out the cool things. But I could actually envision you doing, like, you already do calendars, but boy, I could see if you maybe went to every county or something, and not county, but every community, and you make yourself a pictorial or something book.
Well, again, I just don't go up there to take a photo. I spend hours practicing so that I can get comfortable with it, because you don't want to make that mistake and thinking about it ahead of time, how you're going to come into, a different area. If you would laugh to see how many, I can't even count how many times I've done figure eights around our trees and everything to get comfortable with it. And it's 5 feet off the ground, but I want to get really, really comfortable with it, so it's part of me. So yeah.
Yeah, I actually understand where you're coming from, that things take longer, because, you know, a lot of times people don't understand some of these things. It might look fun, and it is fun, but it's kind of like my writing. I don't just go interview somebody, then go home half an hour later, pop out an article and I don't think a lot of people understand that. It's like the producer of the show, Todd Peranto. We often joke about, he often gets asked to play for exposure, and you put a lot of money into your craft, and you can't always do things for free.
Well, and that's that's the biggest thing, that I have a lot of money in equipment, and it's just, I just don't take this up here and fly it, and I've learned it. It's so many hours and hours and hours of practicing to get comfortable. It's just like with Todd, with his music. He's an amazing musician, and nobody should be, underselling their craft,
right,
of what they do. Right. We're here to provide services, and Todd is an amazing musician, and there's a ton of other musicians out there, and nobody should undercut anybody.
Right. Well, on that note, let me tell you, I'm not an amazing musician, and I could drive people away with my voice. So, well, thank you for coming on, and thank you
very much,
and thank you for doing everything possible to help in your own way to preserve the history, the culture, and the evolving landscape of the Northeast Kingdom.
Thank you.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.